Welcome to the 10-day growth hacking challenge with your host, Nader Sabri. This challenge is a 10-day challenge to 10x your business using 3 growth hacks in 10 days. You are today here with, better known as Mr. Ice. His actual name is Hamdi Abu Aisha. He runs a business that relates to ice therapy and breathing using the Wim Hof method and is taking it to the next level. Before we get started, if you want to know more information about him and what he does, get the information below and feel free to reach out to him. His hack overall, what we're trying to solve in the sense of growth, is creating more sustainable and consistent forms of income and being able to scale that using the services that he has to offer. Today, we're looking at growth hack number 1. And before we get started, we do have a secret supercharged growth hack, which we will not be discussing, but do keep posted. We will be talking about it in the future. For those who want to know more about what we do in this 10-day challenge, pick up your copy of the Growth Thinking Design book. This is the methodology that is used for the growth hacking that we use in the challenge and is currently used by 5,000 growth hackers globally. As we get started, Hamdi, welcome to the second session we have. Last time we had the kickoff session. Do check that out. And today we're here for hack number 1. Tell us what hack number 1 is, how far you are, and what will be the next steps.
So welcome, Nader. So as you mentioned, we are doing the Mr. Ice, which is based on cold therapy. We're using also the breathing to help us for the cold therapy. The first hack we will use is gamifying. We mentioned that we will use 3 hacks. The first one we will start with is gamifying. Gamifying is like a challenge to keep motivated the clients who are coming, or also to keep them on the challenge of what they are, on the progress that they are doing, how it is going, and how it will be.
Awesome. So just to recap, I mean, to gamify this, we're creating a ranking system that will be published several times in a week, determining people who basically based on the time that they're able to stay in the ice, correct? And so with a maximum of 25 minutes, because there's a health hazard beyond 25 minutes. And I think that there's also a growth hack that we have in place for that, but we won't talk about that yet. I think what we're going to determine here today is essentially the ranking system that will be used in social media and will be used in email and other sources to show people basically their rank number, correct?
Yeah, actually, for the timing, it will not exceed. It will not be for so long as there is a limit for the timing for the people who are staying in ice. As we mentioned, it's a therapy. It's not a challenge. But we are trying to add some more spices. The timing, it will be a challenge to get the maximum benefit of this therapy. You know, some people, they are staying for a little bit. We want them to stay much more just to get all the benefit of this therapy. The more they stay, the more they get benefits. And with this gamifying and with this ranking, we are trying to push the limits of them. There is a limits for this ranking, no more than 25 or maximum 30 minutes. After that, we have to stop it. No matter if the client want to stay more or not, we know what's better for the body, so we will stop it at this time.
Yeah, and I think just to recap, one of the discussions we had is once somebody hits the 25 limit, we will switch them to another list, which becomes kind of like an all-star list or some kind of a list where those who just hit the maximum and how many times they hit it. And so it becomes kind of like it's other kind of rank. It's another chart that can be used. But today we'll determine, I think, the main ranking, and we'll deal with that problem later on. Because one of the important things about creativity and growth is understanding your limits. So when you understand your limits, this is when your true creativity comes out. So imagine we have just one rank system, and then all of a sudden we find the limits, we just create a new one, right? It sounds pretty simple, but many people don't do that, right? So we have a new place to put them. Instead of measuring that they hit 25 minutes, is how many sessions can they maintain 25, right? So we find another creative way around it, right? So there we are.
Exactly.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share screen. We have an Excel file that Hamdi has created. We're going to kind of go through that. Hamdi, you can see my screen, correct?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So what has happened here is, I'm just going to kind of zoom into that a little bit here. Let's make that 125. And what we've got here is, okay, so some great branding. I love that, right? So we're going to be looking at this from a more technical perspective in the sense of data. So we got the name, the date, the location. Location is because Hamdi runs in multiple places, not just one place. We'll be looking at the actual record, one of the measures, last record, and finally some notes. So what I'm going to do here is, sorry, we also have here a team. What is team exactly, Hamdi?
Team is because as a progress, we might have more than one coach who's doing this.
Oh, yeah. So we can combine that in the data set. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So the team, it's deciding who's the coach is doing it, and the session who's running with, which session he was running or she was running, as we might have more than one coach in the future. As well, I will explain you some things on the top one. The location, as you mentioned, because we are running more than one location, it's also help us to understand the people or to explain them why sometimes it's their staying in ice or their therapy was different. Sometimes people, when they change the location, they are distracted, or sometimes they cannot focus. That's why sometimes it's changing. And the notes also, if you can see, we have to put notes that this client, he was having pain, it's first time, it's if there is anything to mention to notice in the future progress what was going and how it is now.
Yeah, I think this is a very good point. So in our kickoff, if you go back to the previous session, Hamdi has a very interesting superpower. He can name the certification for, because I don't remember the name of it, but he understands behavioral categorization and behavioral data. And so we've determined that we're going to use some behavioral data, and we'll talk about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this sheet open. I'm going to create a new sheet here, which is over here. And one of the secrets behind creating ranks is you need multiple type of categories. So you have different rankings for different categories. So you have different people who are highlighted in different ways, right? What that does is it creates a multiplication effect, right? So what we're going to do here is most of the data that's captured here is perfectly fine. I'm going to have some notes on that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to determine one, which is gender, right? So we determine, and I'll put the options below so they can become structured data. I'm going to highlight the top so we know these are the data categories. And then we also need something like session counts, right? So session counts, this will be like a value. So 1 count, 5, 6, whatever it is, right? The number of counts that they've actually done. So we know how many times they've done it. So you can have a rank category, which is females who've done 10 sessions or less, and you have a rank for them. You see what I mean? So we create some different type of segmentation. There was a few other things that we discussed, Hamdi, I think before, right? So we talked about gender, we talked about session count. There was another very important one that we discussed. Do you recall what it was? Which is? I actually
more than the gender and it was about if we have we said about if there is a client who succeed or make multiple sessions with the maximum, we will move that to the next level.
Yes. So this is okay. So we'll call this challenge levels for now. Okay. And we can have level 1, which is what would level 1 be? What would that equal?
Level 1, which is four times of 25 seconds.
25 minutes, you mean, right?
Yeah, 25 minutes, sorry.
Yep. Okay, level 2.
Level 2 is to pass 30 minutes.
4 times?
Okay? 4 times.
4 times, 30 minutes plus. Is that safe though?
More than, I will stop it on this one. I will not do more than 30 minutes, you know? So I will have 2 levels only. Level 3 is to keep on the same level, like for another four sessions, which is, to be honest, it's more than amazing to be in the same level for like 8 sessions.
So if we say 4x
each
plus.
session is in 1 week, you have 1 session.
And 30 minutes plus each one?
Yeah.
Okay,
Like
so
I
they've able
said,
to
if we
exceed.
do 8 sessions in 8 weeks with the same ranking, it will be much more than amazing, you know.
So I think what needs to be determined is create the rules and then give it levels, right? So level 1, 2, and 3. And if you had like a fourth level, and I'm just going to put a fourth level with question marks here. And so you can now start to categorize people by level 1, 2, 3, and 4. So level 1 challenger, rank number 1 through 5. Ultimately, is like you want a master rank, right? The master rank is the easiest for anyone to understand. And that could be done once a week. And then you fill in the other days with other permutations or combinations, which is like top female, top male, top 5 session, under 5 sessions for male, top under 5 session for everybody, top 5 sessions under female. So now we've determined that we can create a rank almost every single day as you change the people. Now, is there anything else that we can categorize to create a new category?
The location, maybe, category.
Yeah, I think we had location, the other one, right?
If this will be depending on the people who's coming, if they are preferring different location, you know.
Yeah, so by location, so total then by location. Do you have any groups? I mean, I know you run a women's group, but do you have any other type of groupings that you use in the sense of sessions?
The groups I have is male groups and female or mixed groups, okay, yep. Or females groups. And as well, we can do the age category, but I don't prefer the age category because it's not much different.
Actually, there is a way around age. This has been determined actually through the other hacks we tried in the past. You create age categories. So what you can do is like 18 to 30, for example, and then you can have like 30, you can, like, as long as the categories are a bit larger, if you get what I mean, like 30 to 50 category. I mean, you figure out a solution to that, but you don't want like too many categories. So you can have like under 30, under 40, under 50, you can have it like that. So what happens is that you classify it in a nicer way. So sometimes you see rank lists like, which are like top 10 under 30, top 10 under 40, top 10 under 50. And really it's an age category without saying the age. I think you can find a unique way around that. So what we've got here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 5 possible combinations, and you can play with those combinations. You'll have to have your master rank, of course. You have to collect the data in the sense of like a data to log the data, and then you need to analyze the data in another sheet so you can get all these outputs automated. And then you need a final sheet where you can just copy paste that, which is text friendly, that can go into an Instagram post description, for example. And you probably want a nice graphic that is determined from Excel as well, that gives you a beautiful, and that's easy to do. You can get templates for that. Sorry, we're talking about Google Sheets here, but you can get templates for that. And so you have not just like a graphical output, but you have a text output, and then you've got all the data in the background. And then the behavioral data. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go here, and I'm just going to put, I'm just going to call it behave, so BAH. So we know that's behavioral /1. And so you would just come up with like, remember we said like a maximum 3 to 5. And we'll just put 3 for now to keep things simple. And I'll let you think through that. I know we don't need to determine that now, but you can come up with 3 behavioral things that you've come up with. Like you mentioned one at the very beginning, I think was that if they had pain, right? So you can have like a behavioral pain rank, 1 through 5, 1 no pain, 5 an extreme amount of pain. And so you can have a pain rank and relaxation rank. So you come up with some behavioral rankings. And so you just got a way to store it in there. And that may not be in the rank, but it may be part of just the data set that allows us to segment how to target customers in the future. A few other things, let me just go back into here. I'll just tell you as notes, like I think every customer should have their own unique identification number. So, you know, customer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because you may create further data entry points on the same customer. So you may have more than one line that's just the same customer because they're coming multiple times. The name I would break into first name, last name, full name, because it allows you to work with those variables in the future. So that's another recommendation. The other thing is just put the full date, including the year, because you might want to do an annual ranking in the future. So you may create a date range from, you know, beginning of 2021 to end of 2021 and becomes the annual rank. So you need to be able to have that control. Location is pretty clear. And then for record, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a quick edit, if you don't mind, in here. And you need to go into here and you just put minutes. So we know that they're minutes. And you need to have as just pure data. That's just as a pure number. And you can fix that a bit later on. And just do that for all of them so that you can actually filter this. Because what's going to happen at the end, what we want, let me go back to the sheet that we're working on. Apologies. You want to filter at the very top here, and that filter becomes the pivot tables that we can create for the ranks. And it'll take a little bit of, you know, nerdy work to get it done, but it's not impossible to do. It's pretty easy. Well, sure. We just keep it super simple. We just work on the master rank for now. But as long as we keep the data clean and structured, we're all good, right? So let me, I'll stop sharing. We'll kind of head back here. So guys, I mean, that was a bit of a departure from our regular sessions, a bit of data background. Data plays like a super crucial role. This hack is going to be all about just data. He's going to be able to build his CRM for this. He's going to be able to segment future marketing. And most importantly, he's going to be able to have a daily rank that can go out for different categories, including his master rank. You'll have to choose a day, maybe a Thursday, Friday, whatever it is, which is like your master rank. And you will also, I forgot to do one thing that we forgot in there, Hamdi, you need to include the handle or the username by social platform, right? So today you're primary Instagram, but in the future, you may decide to use Twitter or TikTok or something else. But I would keep it, you know, I'd keep primary to one, but I would keep space in your data available for other networks. And be sure to put the handle so that when you create the text that goes into the next sheet, in the sheet, you're able to actually mention the individuals based on the handle. So when you determine the rank, they're consistently being mentioned, and then they'll share the rank every single time.
Yeah, it's possible to write this.
Right? So we want to create a perpetual effect, right? So just stepping back in growth hacking, we call this a viral loop, right? We have what's called a single, double, and triple viral loop. A viral loop is essentially when you mention somebody and then they go and take an action, and then there's like a repeat action, and that's how things go viral. You know, this is like on a minor level, but you'd be surprised where it might go. What you could do is you can put in the comments, say, for those who are mentioned in the rank, mention 3 other people who you think that should come and do the session to compete against them. And so if you had 10 people multiplied by 3 is 30 people plus the initial 10, you've got 40 people being mentioned, and it repeats and repeats, and that becomes viral. That's just a single viral loop. And that allows us to just play around with it. And there's a lot of growth hacking that can be done with that in the future, right? We'll talk about that later. Some fun stuff.
We can do many things. Yeah, like if anyone can pass each level, he can get like one session or one of the masterized product, which we will add later as a gift. You know, like a session as a gift, or like we have many things as a products will come later on, like a towel or masterized towel. Masterized T-shirt. These are on progress, you know. So
awesome. No, I mean, I love what you're saying. Yeah, incentives, like you're incentivizing, and never underestimate the power of incentive. Incentive is like the oldest trick in the book, but it works. And I think what you need to do is align the incentive with the challenge. Remember challenge 1 through 4. So determine the rules, determine the measure for the 4, think through them carefully, and then put an actual incentive, even if it's like free sessions or it's a towel or whatever it is, but make the prizes get bigger and better. So people are gamified, right? Like, dude, I really want the, 10 sessions in a row at 30 minutes or 25 minutes, and you get like the grand prize. And bam, you've got something that's amazing, because people will love to see that, man. I can see that working very well. Yeah. So you need, I can
imagine as well.
Yeah, I think you need to step back, define those 4 challenges very carefully, and then attach an incentive. It's already in the database, so you don't need to put the rules in the database like I put it. You just put challenge 1, 2, 3, and 4, and in a separate sheet, you can just put what the rules and all that are as notes. So it's just like super clear, and so it doesn't mess up the data set.
Yes, right.
Yeah. So anything else, man? I mean, this is exciting. I mean, this is something I think you can, in the next day or two, even if it's still primitive, I think you can pull it off. pretty quick?
Like you say, the one of the social media, like if we use the client or the person who's coming, social media as a name or identifying, it will be amazing, you know, because this will allow you to keep communicating with him, and this will allow him or her to keep communicating with others about this ranking, what he's doing or what she's doing.
Yep.
You know, so
and don't
when
forget,
they are passing also. Yeah.
Don't forget email and phone number in the data, because you can communicate by WhatsApp, by a phone number, and you can communicate obviously by email. The most powerful, by the way, the most powerful form of digital data you can ever have is the email. Email means you own that person, like, well, not that person, but you own that digital relationship is email. So even if that you've got like 100,000 followers, you don't own anything actually except your username, right? That's all you own. But if you have emails, that's the most important digital asset. That's the most valuable digital asset. That's the gold, is the email. So get the emails, get the phone numbers, because those are the most two important pieces of data for you to communicate with them. The third is the handles in the social media. Social media is going to perpetuate, but that gives you an ability to reach out to people by phone number and email. So that brings us to the end. Hamdi, is there anything else related to this hack that you want to discuss?
Right now, we will check this one. I think we're going to start this ranking by tomorrow. Tomorrow
Beautiful.
is the first using of this ranking, and we'll spread it overall with all the people and the clients and the coming sessions as well. So we'll check it out. I think it will be a super hack.
Yeah, I agree. So that's awesome. So I can't wait to see that. I'm looking forward to seeing that. For those who are watching, the details for Hamdi and Mr. Ice will be below. Go check out the ranks live and start really simple. Remember, the rank doesn't have to be perfect from the beginning. You just keep fixing it and adding the bonuses and all the fun stuff that we just discussed as you go along. And just ping it back to me and I'll give you some feedback on the data set. And once you've got a good data set, everything else falls in place for the future and you can scale from there. So guys, that's hack number 1. You know, see us in the next one for hack number 2, right?
Sure.